Good morning, student. How are you all? So, today we will learn one interesting topic, that is metal. Okay. So, I would like to show you something. Look at this. What is this? Spoon. And this is bell made up of some material. And this is silver foil, gold ring. And you can see the diamond over here, small. And I would like to show you. Can you see this? Wire made up of some material. We will discuss of which material it is made up of. Okay. So, do you think if I drop this spoon down, do you think it will break or not? Okay. Think about it. And can you see the shine in this spoon? And can you see the shine in this silver foil? And you can see the shining here in this wire also. And this is a something material called brass. It also shines. Okay. So all these things are made up of material that is called metal. So today we will learn about metal. So let me share my screen with you. So whatever objects I shown you, so all these are made up of materials. And from utensil, jewelry, wires, vehicle, coins, machines to bridge and buildings, metals are everywhere around us. So today we are going to learn about what are metals, their physical properties, and why metals are important for us. So if you want, I can also make this easier for you to understand the property of materials and what are metals. Okay. So metals are substances that are usually hard. As you can see, the spoon is hard. Shiny, you can see the shining here in this silver foil and in this gold. And they are used to make utensil, tools, machines, vehicle, wires and buildings. So example of metals are iron, copper, aluminum, gold and silver. You can see the copper here. What are non-metals? So non-metals are the materials and substances that do not show metallic properties. They are generally not shiny, not hard, and poor conductor of heat and electricity. So today we will focus on the physical properties of metals. So first property is lustrous. Lustrous means, as I told you, shine. Metals have a shiny surface, for example, gold and silver. You can see the aluminum and you can see the gold. Lustrous. Lustrous means they produces shine. One of the property of metal is shine. For example, gold and silver jewelry shines. Hard. Most metals are hard and can carry heavy loads. Like वो उनके ऊपर ज़्यादा material को load करके it can carry. For example, iron. जैसे कि bridges, they are made up of iron and buildings are made up of iron. Malleable. So most important physical property of metal is malleable. What does it mean, malleable? Malleable means metals can be beaten into thin sheet. For example, aluminum foil. So as you can see here, suppose this is the gold, whatever metal we can consider here. If we beaten it continuously, it can be turned into a thin sheet. For example, say aluminium. Can you see this sheet? So this thin sheet can be obtained by beating up of the metal. And malleable हो गया. Now, one more property we will learn here is ductile. Ductility property of metal. So what is ductility? We'll discuss. Metal can be drawn into thin wires. Metal can be drawn into thin wire. This is called the ductility. Ductility means suppose there is some piece of particular metal and we can draw into thin wires. Can you see this thin wire? This is the thin wire which is made up of metal. So one of the most important physical property of metal is ductility. Ductility means to make thin wire out of that particular metal. For example, say we can say from 2 gram of gold, we can make 2 meter long thin wire. So this kind of property metal shows. And good conductor of heat and electricity. So metals, there are some metals like iron, copper wires, they are good conductor of heat and electricity. Soronous. Soronous. Soronous means sound. So metal produce a ringing sound when struck. So I will show you the bell. Do you remember the bell? When our school lunch break recess were happen, we heard some sound. That is also somebody in the school strike the bell. Okay, so we can hear it. So this is one of the most important property of metal. Sonorous means making or producing sound. You can hear the sound. When the struck, it produces sound. So this property of metal is called sonorous property. And this is ductility. Have you seen wire, copper wire, which is using in mostly using in electricity and sonorous? Now, another property of metal is high melting point. So most metal do not melt easily. For example, iron melts at very high temperature. So they need lots of heat or high temperature to get melt. At physical state, so what are the physical state of metals? So are metals solid at room temperature except mercury. So there is an exception. Mercury is a metal, but it is liquid at room temperature. So generally all the metals are solid at room temperature except mercury. So remember this point. This is the exception over here. So let's do a quick recapitulation about metals. So what are metals? So you can see the things around us. Most of the things which is hard, shiny, produces some sound and show some properties like good conductor of electricity, good conductor of heat, and they can be drawn into thin wire. They can be a strike on upon striking they can produce sound. So these are the physical properties of metals. So metals are generally, in short, we can summarize that metals are generally shiny, hard, and strong substances. Metals are malleable and ductile. Malleable, as I told you, on beaten up, on striking up, on they can turn into a thin sheet. So we can make a thin sheet of metal while striking on them. So metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Metals are soronous and have heavy and high melting points. Metal reacts with oxygen, water, and acid from substances. So metal is a reactable compound also. Let's do quick assessment over here. So first I would like to show you some important properties from your exam point of view. Like lustrous, all the metals are lustrous and they produce shine, have shiny surface like gold jewelry and silver jewelry. Malleability, remember this property, malleability property. Ductility, metal can be drawn into a thin wire. Soronous, on striking, they can produce sound. Good conductor of heat and electricity like iron, copper, wires. and high melting point. And they have the physical property. What are the physical state of the metal are solid. So all our metal are solid at room temperature except mercury. So here are some assessment questions here. So let me tell me, metals are usually dash in appearance, dull, soft, shiny, transparent. As I told you, metal are shiny. Which property allows metal to be beaten into thin sheet? I told you beaten into thin sheets. We can beat the metal into a thin sheet. For example, aluminum foil. And this property is called malleability. And which metal property helps in making electric wires? Which property? I told you ductility. Ductility means making metal can be drawn into thin wire. So this property is called ductility. So ductility property helps in making electric wires. Metal are good conductor of both heat and electricity. Which sound is produced when metals are struck? When metals are struck, they produce ringing sound, and this property is called sonorous. Which of the following is a metal? I'll give you example. Oxygen, sulfur, copper and carbon. Oxygen is a gas, sulfur is a gas, carbon is a gas and copper is a metal here. So what are metals? So there are some homework questions I'm giving you. Kindly note it down. So what are metals? What is meant by malleability? What are metals used to make cooking utensils? And what is ductility? So solve these questions and bring it tomorrow. And tomorrow we will learn about non-metals and we will compare metals and non-metals together. Okay. So thank you.